Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to our video presentation covering the calendar year 2020 exploration program. Our exploration team has been working very hard over the past 7 months conducting a full portfolio review. We think this program provides some very exciting near-term growth opportunity and in particular has some compelling investment justification. We'll get into that through this presentation today. I'd like to highlight a few things about the program up front. First, we are targeting conventional plays. We have no plans for hydraulic fracturing. We're going to use air drilling and deviated drilling to really ensure we optimize commercial flow rates. That's a key message. There is no hydraulic fracturing involved in this particular program. Second, production from this program and any future associated development wells generally leverage existing facilities. So we've got 3 operating gas fields plus Surprise, which is currently shut in. The intent is that this exploration program leverages off that infrastructure and capacity to really do 2 things. Bring and commercialize gas earlier to market, but also provide for higher margins and higher value. And finally, we intend to fully fund the estimated cost of this exploration program. It's about $51 million. Through a farm-out process. We think that's an efficient way potentially to access asset equity. The farm-out in particular will have we're looking to farm out a minority interest and maintain operatorship, and we'll be working on that in a formal process over the next 6 to 9 months, targeting about mid-year to complete that farm-out process. I'm joined today by Duncan Lockhart, GM Exploration. He'll be presenting each of the targets in a lot more detail. But before jumping into that, I'd like to cover slide 2. This will provide a little bit of context for our exploration program coming up. As we know, Central has a very active year ahead. This isn't by accident. We believe there is a window of opportunity to find and bring new gas reserves to the East Coast market. We intend to capitalize on this window of opportunity through our production project and exploration portfolio. Our production assets have seen a strong performance since commencement of the NGP in January of this year. This is evident in the substantial growth seen between our first half and second half results in our 2019 annual report. Certainly would encourage you to take a look at that for more information on operating performance. Our production assets obviously have a natural decline. We do have to invest in the fields to optimize production. These activities and costs tend to be lumpy, so we expect to see a sawtooth profile in both production and costs over time. Project Range in Queensland Strat Basin is now a new and substantial asset for Central with 135 petajoules of high-quality 2C contingent resource. We are launching into the final investment decision, or FID, work, and we see a real opportunity to accelerate this process to commence sales as early as possible in 2022. I think the value of Project Range will become more and more visible as we progress FID next year. Both production and Project Range have been covered in detail in recent presentations, and certainly would encourage you to look back at previous webinars and other presentations for more information on both of those. That leaves us with our exploration activity. We have an incredible opportunity within our exploration portfolio with a vast portfolio of proven hydrocarbon systems. There aren't many onshore gas basins with proven production and access to the East Coast market. Our portfolio is underexplored, and we think it's a very attractive asset, both for our shareholders, but also for potential farm-out partners. We have fully augmented our exploration capability, as I've talked about previously, and intend to progress both near-term exploration, which is the subject of our discussion today in the presentation, as well as our medium and longer-term exploration opportunities, which we will present next year, early part of next year. With that said, I'll hand over to Duncan to walk us through the 2020 exploration program.
Once again, thank you for the opportunity to present the calendar year 2020 exploration program. The program that we're focusing on is wholly contained within the Martius Basin in the Northern Territory. We've come up with 5 drillable prospects and 2 appraisal tests within our acreage. And the program has a risk estimate prospective resource of around 205 petajoules of gas and 9.5 million barrels of oil. We have the potential also within this program to convert another 54 petajoules of 2C contingent resources net to central into reserves through targeting the stairway sandstone within the Marini field. The main program attributes that we have here is that we're focusing purely on conventional plays, so there's no hydraulic fracturing involved. We have high value prospects that also leverage off existing infrastructure, and everything is drillable within calendar 2020 with brownfield economics as a result of being infield or near field opportunities. We have compelling investment justifications, and we intend to fully fund this program via a farm-out process. As you can see up there, the estimated aggregate resources for this particular program. For gas, in the mean sense, we're looking at over 500 petajoules potential, and for gas, 29 million barrels. So over the period of time for the last 6 months plus, we've been reviewing our current portfolio and inventory of leads and prospects within Central. And we've undertaken many forms of analysis, and this is one particular graphic which helps us understand the maturity and risk profile, if you like, of our current portfolio. And if you have a look at this funnel of opportunities, you'll notice that on the left-hand side, we have these rather large, very large opportunities that are generally high risk, and as we go approach to the right in the funnel, as it becomes narrower, we become less risky and more advanced for drilling opportunities. When we have a look at the advanced lead area, we can see that we've got these near-term prospects, which are the ones that we will be addressing. However, the much larger opportunities, which are over in the concept level, require a significant amount of play-based exploration work. This will be progressing as we progress through for the near-term exploration, and hopefully we'll be deriving the next set of drilling candidates out of this particular tranche of opportunities. Next slide. So, there were a number of criteria that we wanted this exploration program to fulfill. Firstly, we're focusing on targets where Central has 100% interest in the actual exploration permits that are already granted. This allows us to be the masters of our own destiny, and we are not beholden to any joint venture requirements, which means that we can make our decisions and get on with doing the business. The program requires no additional seismic or hydraulic fracturing, and therefore we're keeping the actual exploration costs down by the fact that we're not having to undertake these expensive exercises. But not only that, when it comes to seismic, the fact that we don't need to shoot seismic also means we don't have a significant lag time required for acquisition and processing and interpretation. So we can get on and do our job now. These are infield and near-field opportunities, and as a result, we can leverage off existing facilities, which actually keeps nice brownfield economics in place, which makes these potentially rapidly monetizable. We're also addressing generally the lower risk plays. They are proven plays within the system, so we're not going out and searching for anything exotic. These are opportunities that we know are in proven areas. And like I say, we can quickly monetize these particular opportunities in the success case given their location and vicinity to near facilities. So, the program itself. We start off with the Mamlambo opportunity, which is a large oil opportunity up in the Johnson Trough, only 8 kilometres away from Surprise. And we know that this Johnson Trough area is within the Martius Basin, the most oil-prone part of the basin. We have what we believe to be an adequate seismic grid over Mamlambo, which is our main lead. It's expected to be oil, and it's around 29 million barrels potential. The size of this prospect, if it does come in, will certainly change the way that we view the development opportunities out in this part of the world, with options such as mini refining potentially coming into play. Then we have our Mereenie stairway target, which is starting down the pathway to convert the 2C resource into 2P at Mereenie, which is contained within the stairway formation. The stairway has never been the primary target in the Mereenie field. It's basically always been something that we drill through on the way to our primary target, and most of the wells to date have been focused on development out of the oil ring. Then we have the Palm Valley West opportunity, which is potential for a low-cost drilling opportunity on a feature which is on trend with the Palm Valley anticline. It's a relatively significant target of around 51 petajoules and also benefits from its location near Palm Valley. Then the other thing that we're looking at in the Palm Valley area is the Palm Valley Deep target. Palm Valley Deep is approaching the Arumbra formation, which is the proven reservoir system at Dingo. It's deeper and never been drilled within the Palm Valley field. There's a significant opportunity here to prove up potential of 131 petajoules within the Palm Valley field. The location that we've chosen for this test also has the opportunity for us to do an additional sidetrack into the already proven and productive Pakuta section, which will help us accelerate production from that level. Our next target is in the Dingo and Orange area. Orange is a very large feature which has two existing wells which have already proven gas within the Arumbra section. The Arumbra section is actually the same as the Dingo productive interval. We've got deeper targets into the Pioneer, and when you look at both of these added together, we're looking at a very significant potential resource of about 260 petajoules. Orange is adjacent to the existing Dingo pipeline and north of Dingo, and will benefit from potential brownfield economics with Dingo. And lastly, we have our Dingo Deep target, which once again, like Orange, is a much deeper target as we're penetrating down to the Pioneer level into undrilled closures which have been proven regionally. We will be re-entering into the Dingo 1 wellbore and actually accessing the Arumbra formation on the way down, which is already proven as the gas interval within the field. So that's a very quick snapshot of the program as we see it. So I'll go into some bit more detail. These are the volumes that you can see there, and you can see if you add the means, we're looking at about 505 petajoules of gas, we're looking at about 29 million barrels of oil, and we're addressing net to central about 54 petajoules of 2C contingent resource. All of the numbers that are presented on this table are currently net to central, and you can see that it's quite a significant set of targets that we're chasing. So, a little bit of technical detail. Excuse me. This is a seismic line which runs from the south to the north, with Dingo in the south and Orange to the north. So, Dingo on the right and Orange on the left. You can see that this is a seismic line that identifies these two really large structures in the Amadeus Basin, both of which are proven. You can also see that the current well penetrations, as they're put on this section, do not penetrate all the way down to basement, and there are significant volumes of closure that have yet to be penetrated in this area. And these are proven reservoirs, such as the Pioneer, which has already been proven to flow gas in other wells in the area. So we can have a look at the next slide. So Dingo Deep, we're looking at a closure at the Pioneer level, which is below the existing productive Arumbra level. Dingo, as you know, was discovered in 1982. There are 4 wells in the field, 2 of which are productive. But the field remained undeveloped until 2015, until a commercial solution was provided by Central. The Dingo 1 well has collapsed casing over the productive Arumbra level, and so the plan would be to re-enter the Dingo 1 well, sidetrack around the area of collapsed casing where we actually have proven gas flows, and then continue deeper and assess the deeper Pioneer target. Within the deeper Pioneer target, we believe we're targeting a mean of around 63 petajoules of gas. If this level was not to be successful, we can come back and complete into the proven Arumbra level and potentially drill sideways into a horizontal section at the productive Arumbra level. Orange is a very similar situation to Dingo. Orange 1 was drilled in 1967 and Orange 2 was drilled in 1998. The original Orange well didn't penetrate the Arumbra 1 sands, which subsequent to the drilling of Dingo were proven to be the gas-bearing reservoir within the area. And Orange 2 actually did flow gas at a rate of 0.4 million standard cubic feet a day on DST. However, Orange 2 was drilled with an overbalanced mud system, and we know that from recent experience that the best way to drill these reservoirs is underbalanced them with air. That's actually been proven to give a 200% increase in performance of reservoir deliverability in places such as Dingo. So we would be planning on re-drilling another well on the massive Orange structure, which is about 112 square kilometres of closure, and drilling with air through the Arumbra section and testing that Arumbra section, and then continuing down into the Pioneer level. We believe that there's potential for around 113 BCF at the Arumbra level and potential for around 115 BCF at the Pioneer level, which makes this a very large and exciting opportunity. It's 30 kilometres north of Dingo. It's adjacent to the Dingo pipeline. Dingo and Orange would work together, potentially unlock some serious commercial levers in the area. Palm Valley Deep is another target which is below the existing Palm Valley field, which is producing from the Upper Pacoota level. And what you can see here is a well path that we will drill from an existing cleared location, which is known as Palm Valley 12, and we will drill down to the Arumbra level, which is the main productive interval at Dingo. When we get to that level, we'll deviate the well to about approximately 45 degrees, and by doing that, we'll open up a lot more of the fractures that we know occur down in this particular level. If the well is unsuccessful at this level, we'll pull back and we'll sidetrack into the Pacoota level, where we know that we've got existing production, and we will try to emulate what we had, the success that we've had at Palm Valley 13 by drilling into an area where we believe there's an increased density of fractures in the Pacoota. This well has been around as an opportunity for a long time, and there's over 100 BCF of potential that can be tied into the existing Palm Valley facility. In fact, a success at this level, if it comes in at the volumes that we expect, would probably rewrite the way that we would go forward with the development of Palm Valley. Palm Valley West is another opportunity, which is 15 kilometres west of Palm Valley. It's along the same anticlinal trend, and it is recognised on satellite data. It's quite rugged terrain, and it's not covered by seismic at present. Seismic is prohibitively expensive over this particular area at approximately $100,000 per kilometre. So we believe that we can de-risk this structure just with field work and actually go and map the closure on the surface, and we know that this is actually sufficient means of actually understanding whether there are closure at the deeper target levels. Same target level as what we have at Palm Valley, which is the Pacoota. It's a significant size structure, and we're looking at creative ways of actually doing this in a cost-effective way by utilising slim hole technology using minerals rigs, which actually give us a much cheaper and smaller footprint when we actually drill this well. Once we've got established whether we have the discovery, we'll work off that data and come up with a formal field development plan. Palm Valley West also will benefit from the fact that it can facilitate and use the Palm Valley facilities. Then that brings us to Mamlambo, which is a large oil prospect 8 kilometres from the Surprise oil field in the oil-prone Johnson Trough part of the Martius Basin. The prospect is adequately covered with seismic, and we're looking at potentially drilling this prospect using a slim hole minerals rig in order to reduce the costs. The large size of this particular prospect, with a mean recoverable oil volume of around 29 million barrels, would bring on many potential commercial outcomes, including potential for micro-refining options in this part of the basin. That brings us to the Mereenie Stairway Appraisal Program. The stairway formation within the Mereenie field has never been the primary target, with most wells to date having actively targeted the oil rim of the field. We plan to re-enter 2 wells, which have already demonstrated good gas flows while drilling, and we will reperforate these intervals, test them and complete them. This information will then be fed into furthering our understanding of the stairway within the Mereenie field, and that will help us start to design a further program of exploitation. It's worth noticing that 60% of the current contingent resources of the Mereenie field is attributed to the stairway formation, and that accounts for 54 petajoules of contingent resource net to Central Petroleum.
Thank you, Duncan. A couple of things I want to highlight at this point in time. We've obviously provided prospective resource estimates for this exploration program. I do want to highlight and avoid any confusion that we will not get all of those certified reserves from the drilling program we're anticipating in 2020. We'll get some associated with those particular wells, but what this program does is give us line of sight to develop a full field development plan over which period we'd intend to get recoverable reserves of that amount. That's how it'll work. So don't expect all of the petajoules that we're talking about in a success case to be certified on day one after this drilling program. That's not how it works. So just want to be very clear on that. However, it does obviously allow us line of sight for utilizing the plant and equipment much more efficiently. Brownfield economics, our development plans obviously will be changed, but we do see these as very high value prospects in a success case. So wanted to make that clear. How are we going to fund it? Obviously, $51 million is a large chunk of money for Central Petroleum. We intend to, and we think this is a smart strategy, to fully fund that through a farm out process. We think there's a lot of appetite, and we've certainly been fielding discussions from other players in the industry that view a significant exploration portfolio attached to existing production assets that generate strong cash flows as being a very attractive opportunity to farm in. We're going to explore that market over the next 6 to 9 months through a formal farm out process. The idea there is that we farm out a minority interest in those producing assets and the exploration program to do a free carry for the exploration program for Central. A couple of things that need to be tied to that. It will have an impact on our refinancing, not so much in terms of the strategy. We intend to refinance. There's no question that senior debt is more appropriate for these assets at this point in time, so we will be progressing it. But there are 2 things that do impact it. One is when we sell down producing assets of a percent, we will have to make a pro rata reduction in the outstanding debt to accommodate that, not surprisingly. The other is timing. We probably are going to look to align a refinancing with this farm out process so we can do them both together. It's much more efficient in that aspect. Timing for the process for a farm out is in mid-2020 calendar year. Obviously, we're going to be working very hard to achieve that time frame. 6 to 8 months is doable, but obviously we want to get a great outcome from this process. So the timing will be, really whatever it takes to make sure that we get the best result. I want to highlight that we will be progressing this exploration program in parallel to a farm out process. That will allow us to continue to target drilling of these prospects within calendar year 2020. So we will be in parallel driving critical path items. A couple of things in the farm out that I want to highlight. We will be keeping a majority interest. We don't intend to sell down beyond that. We will be retaining operatorship. We think that's important given our expertise, understanding of the basin, and activities in surrounding areas. And we do expect the joint venture partner, and we'll be looking for this to be fully aligned, both in terms of financial capacity to keep pace with us, but also have the technical capacity to add value to the exploration and production assets that we'll be farming out. I think we'll move to the next slide, which is the Dukas 1 update. We did slide this in here. Obviously, we don't have this included in our calendar year 2020 exploration program, but thought it was worth providing an update. I know there's a lot of questions on it. The background I won't spend a lot of time with. We've covered that previously. Leave it to say that we've almost reached the target formation, had to stop short, suspend the well due to significant overpressure in the formation. The rig limits were obviously met, and we've had to let that rig go. In order to complete that, we would need a larger rig, which obviously will require sourcing that rig, new approvals, and new well designs, etc. Next slide. The current status, which I've talked about, we have, obviously it's very disappointing that Dukas 1 has not been completed, but on the positive side, the fact that we have seen significant formation pressure at this depth indicates that there is a very strong seal in place, which is a real important aspect of a commercial play. And the other is we did see hydrocarbons within mud gas shows, which indicate a working hydrocarbon system. Again, a very strong positive indicator for the prospect. Obviously, we haven't intersected the target formation, so deliverability is still remaining as a critical risk in this. We are obviously interested to get that intersection and get an understanding of deliverability for the Dukas well and Dukas prospect in particular. Forward plan. So we had talked about the fact that obviously this is a joint venture activity. We are working closely with Santos, our joint venture partner. We have held a recent technical workshop. There is still some significant work to be done, including reinterpretation of some of the VSP or seismic work that was accumulated, and other technical work to understand how best to move forward with the Dukas prospect. If we were to move forward, it would be really to get a larger rig. We think internally at Central that the total cost of that would be in the order of $10 million. That's gross joint venture. So it is a substantial further investment, but not as significant as a new well. I do want to highlight that the Santos farm-in status, they are farming into 70% at the completion of this well. That process is, and the status of that farm-in is being considered by ourselves as part of the formal joint venture process. So we don't have any definitive conclusions on that at this point in time. We'll update the market as soon as that's been decided through the normal joint venture processes. I'll highlight that Santos has indicated a potential return to Dukas in 2021. We think at this point getting drilling done in 2020, whilst we would certainly encourage and be looking for opportunities to do that, will be difficult given the work that needs to be done on a technical front, securing a rig, the approval process, and the normal joint venture process and internal processes for that further commitment. So that is the update on timing. Again, Central is, it's disappointing for all of us at Central. We do want a result from Dukas. We think it's an incredibly exciting prospect still, but the timing is likely to be after 2020. We are working hard now to look at opportunities and options to accelerate that, but at this point, that is the current status. In terms of a formal definitive forward plan, we don't have that at this point in time. We hope to have that fairly soon over the next few months. But again, we need to get a lot of technical work done, and we need to work through a joint venture process before that forward plan can be agreed by the parties and put in place. As soon as we have a forward plan, we'll make it clear to the market and we will announce it. But it is not imminent. It is something that's still has further work to do going forward. And that indicates the end of the presentation. I hope this was informative and useful. We will have broader presentations covering this as well as other corporate activities in the not too distant future. I trust that this provided a bit more clarity and information on the specific program we're looking to conduct in 2020 and how we're going to go about it. And really, from our perspective, incredibly exciting opportunity to address near-term exploration and appraisal plays that can have an immediate impact on our production and sales and really benefit from being near or in field and therefore brownfield economics, so high value activities on a high value prospects in a success case. So very exciting. We obviously have a lot on with this project range and our operations, but incredible potential for the company in the next year, and we'd expect it to be very exciting. Thank you for your attention.